All right, y'all. What is up? Welcome to episode 12 of Wholeheartedly with Kendall and
Galey.
Hi, my doll. I love you. Okay, we're going to get right into it because we go forward and through and we do it together because I love you to pieces. So Galey has had a really, really tough week. I don't even think that quite covers it. And I will pass the mic to you, my queen, because I will let you kind of share what your news is.
And I want to give a little warning to anybody listening, because if you are going through something really hard, if you are grieving somebody or something that you lost that you love, or if you might be doing that soon because something you love is not doing great, this might be difficult to listen to. But I also want to assure you that we here on our podcast, we work really hard to do things with intention and with meaning behind it. So we're never going to share something just for the sake of sharing it. And we never want to try and make somebody cry just to make them cry. We want to make sure that there's purpose behind it. And so in sharing this story, I hope that it gives you tools and an opportunity to maybe handle things in a healthier way if you, heaven forbid, ever have to go through something difficult. And also, if you're going through it, kind of to know that you're not alone, because part of the human experience is going through hard things and feeling things really deeply. And I think the harder you love, the harder you hurt. It is like a pendulum that swings equal on both sides. And I love really, really hard. So it means that I experience loss really, really hard.
I think having a little bit of a trigger warning to everybody, it's important that this is going to be at least a portion of this episode will be heavier, discussing topics of grief, discussing topics of loss, but also the beauty that can come with having to experience life. And that loss is part of the process. It's part of the human experience. And we do everything with our whole hearts. So we're here to support you, Galey, and we're here to also support everybody else listening that, you know, we're going to get through these moments together. This is part of what makes us beautifully human. So if you want to share, my doll, what happened this week, my sweets.
Yeah. So like 4 nights ago, I got out of the shower and I realized that Charlye, my 13-year-old white boxer, who to say a soulmate is kind of not even fair to her because it was so much deeper than that, what she meant to me. She was my oxygen. And I saw her on the floor shaking, and she looked at me really scared, like her eyes were scared. And I took her pulse and I realized she was going into cardiac arrest. And I knew what to do because, as you guys have heard on previous episodes, you know, I scoop her up and I put a Sodalol in her mouth and I rush her really quickly to the emergency room. And all 8 times I've done that in the last year, I get her there, they take her back, I sit in a back room and I wait, and then they come out and tell me that she's okay. They stabilized her, she's on lidocaine and everything's good. And then I recover, and so does she. And I just kind of had made it my mission for the last year to keep Charlye healthy. And it was such a joy getting to be that kind of mom for her and be there for her in that way. And I rushed her there. We got there within 10 minutes. The whole car ride there, I was telling her what she means to me and how she's changed my life. And I just make sure to tell her everything I need her to know, just in case this is the last time. And I kind of wasn't prepared that it actually was, because when I handed her over to them, I kissed her and I told her I loved her, and she was still breathing and looking at me. And then they came in like 20 minutes later into the room and told me that she arrested on the table, and they weren't able to revive her after 15 minutes of CPR. And I didn't know, and I think I'm going to share this because I think it might be helpful to know this is actually something that humans do. I've never seen it on a TV show. I've never seen it in real life. Like, I did not know that what I did next was actually something that happens. But the vet came in and he sat down and he looked at me and he told me, and I immediately projectile vomited everywhere. Like, my legs started shaking like off the floor, and I started just vomiting. Like, he pulled the trash can over and just like sat there rubbing my back, and my whole body was like heaving into the trash can. And it was almost like I was having a seizure. Like, I couldn't control my body. And I didn't know that was a thing, but I think that Charlye is such a core to who I am that I was almost like my body was physically rejecting the news that I was hearing. Like, it was physically trying to get the news away from me or something, because I couldn't digest it. And then as soon as the vet left the room, I immediately called Kendall. And you heard me like dry heaving and screaming and crying. And I just like, you were my first phone call. And I just knew that you would know what to say and you would be in it with me and you would like hug me through the phone. And it's, midnight and I'm in this back sterile room at a vet ER, like scream crying. And I just wanted to talk to you. And you were so good about helping me with my breathing and like reaffirming like the life that Charlye had and what I did for her. And you were just like, I just want to take a moment to thank you, Kendall, because it was so late in the middle of the night and you stayed up for hours with me. Like, basically what happened is they let me back to see her, and then they told me I could stay with her in a back room. So they put me in a separate room and had her on a gurney. And it's now like 1:00 in the morning and I'm just holding her and she's getting so cold. And I'm just trying to keep her warm, like with my body. And I'm trying to lay on top of her and like bring her back to life. And I can't. And Kendall, you just kept calling me and you like wouldn't leave me alone in the best way. And I had a couple other girlfriends too who just kept calling, but like my people were there for me. And you were just so genuinely in it with me. They say that when you're going through something, you don't always need like an optimist cheerleader there telling you it's going to be great and it's going to be okay. Like, you kind of want somebody to get in the mud with you, because then you're not feeling it alone. And Kendall, you did that. And I just kept trying to warm her up, and I just can't imagine life without her. She has taught me so much about loving people, and she is not a dog. She is a human. Every person that knew Charlye said that they felt like they had full conversations with her. Like, she would come up if they were struggling or crying or upset about something, and she would give you her paw and like put it on your heart and literally like just sit there with her paw on your heart and look at you and like, it's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. It's going to be okay. And then she would rub her face on yours and kiss you. And she didn't like anybody feeling pain. Yeah. And she was so just emotionally attentive. And I think that for me, she made me a mom. And I don't know if I will get to ever have kids of my own. And so she was like the closest I might ever get to like really feeling like becoming a mom. And I took it so seriously. I've been getting her medications for so long, and I have one last like prescription that I needed to refill that's waiting for me at CVS right now. And every day I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to go and get it. I mean, I don't need to get it anymore. But now I'm like, I don't want to go and get it today because I like that I can go and get it tomorrow And it's one more moment that I still get to be her mom. And so I'm going to go and get her prescription refilled, like probably in the next week, just because I want to still be her mom.
Honey, here, let's take a moment. I want you to be able to take a breath. First off, thank you so much for sharing that so openly. I know before we did the podcast today, we had a call and I was like, listen, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you feel ready for, we can do. We don't have to go there. We can go there. And the coolest thing about Galey, and this is what, like, sorry, I'm going to cry, like, talking about this. This is why I just so admire you, is that you said, this is just what I believe, as tough as this is going to be. Like, I know this is probably going to be able to help somebody, because there's other people that I know are grieving right now, or who are pre-grieving something that could be happening that they know is inevitable. And if this can help somebody, then I think it's really important that I talk about it. And I think that's what's so beautiful about you. And also what was so beautiful about Charlye, and how Charlye is what I told you on the phone. I mean, so seriously, she's still so with you. And now you guys get to be even closer because you're not separated by a fur body. You're now, I believe, in souls. And we've talked about this, and that when you find a soulmate, you get attached even beyond living on earth in a human body vessel or a dog body vessel or whatever it is. And I think what's so incredible is your selflessness, just like Charlye. And it was like a piece of you was living outside your body, and you guys were completely two peas in a pod, and still are. And what's so I'm just really, really proud of you, because we've talked for a long time of knowing each other, and you've always said that your worst nightmare and the worst day of your life is going to be when she passes. And I will say I've personally been through a lot of grief with friends and grief on my own, but when you called, I've never heard that kind of a cry in my life. And it killed me, thinking like, God, if I could teleport, I would. Literally, I was talking to Alex and I was like, should I get on a plane? Like, do I get a ticket? And the other thing I want you to know is how many of your friends freaking are obsessed and love you. Because the second that happened, I text Amy, Amy's texting me, I'm texting Kay. We're all literally, everybody who is around you and in your life is like, what do we do? Plan of action. Okay, can you get to her? I can get to her by this. Who can do this? I'm doing that. It was watching so many people who love you in your heart so much, and know how incredible Charlye was, but also how incredible you are, and how incredible the dog mom you are, and just human being. And watching so many people who love you so much all come together and comfort each other. And how are we going to comfort her? How are we going to take care of her? Amy was explaining how you've grieved before, so I kind of knew what to get into with what this experience could be like. And then it was the most beautifully human experience in such a difficult moment. And I think that's what also is a gift from Charlye, right? Like, being able to build bonds even through a rough experience. And grief can do that. It can be so devastating, but it can also be so enlightening, because it's an inevitable thing we all have to deal with at some point in our lives, whether we're kind of lucky and we don't have it till later, or sometimes it just hits really early, or in a big avalanche, it seems. But number one, know you are so loved. Number two, know I am so damn proud of you, of being open and honest with your grief. And number three, like what I've said a million times, I will always remind you of this, you and Charlye are no longer separate. Like, you guys are fully together now. And, you carry her heart in everything you do. And that's why you guys are soulmates, because you give so much to others. So I will always be here for all of the shit and the muck and the scary. I will always be reminding you, hopefully, to breathe. Oh my God, that was scary. I thought you were going to faint. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But you're unbelievable. And you are going to continue to carry Charlye with you in everything you do. And I'm just so proud of your willingness to be open and to share, honestly, the worst day of your life with so many people. So thank you guys for listening to this too. And please, as a friend, you damn well better be sending her love and support. And it's fine if you don't, but I will be there too. But just for someone to be this open and honest, I'm also protective as hell of you. So like, you guys, this was such a beautifully special relationship in Galey's life. And Charlye and you went through hell together, all of your mental health battles, all of it. Like, she's it. And I think what's beautiful is maybe she filled her time of service in what she could with her doggy body, you know?
Yeah, I think this is such a testament to the importance of having deep, meaningful female friendships.
Yep.
The way that you guys just flocked around me. And this is, you know, my friends outside of my install team, but then also all of the women on my install team, like they were also doing the same thing, just kind of flocking in circles and just figuring out how they can help. And I think that Charlye almost knew, like, okay, Galey, you've got your protective, like, village, like, shield around you now, so you don't need me as much anymore. So I can stop protecting you. And I hope this is helpful to people, because people know how much of an animal lover I am. And there's two things that have really helped me in my grieving process to help me kind of get through, and as Kendall says, like moving forward, like forward and through, like how am I getting through this? And there's two things that I'm really holding very close to my heart. And that is one, when I was in the back room with her after she passed, I kept telling her, I think the last thing I said to her actually was that because of my experience with her and what I learned from her and what animals are capable of, I am making it my mission to help every animal I can possibly help for the rest of my life. And I told her that so many animals are going to be loved and protected and saved because of her. And that gives me so much peace, because, you know, it's like she didn't pass in vain. Like, her time here meant something. And the other thing, and this might sound a little hokey and a little crazy, and trust me, when you are going through absolute hell, you start thinking about crazy things. Like, I wanted to save the water in the dog bowl because it was the last one she drank from. And I'm like, how do I preserve this forever? And then I was like, should I drink it? Will that make her, like, in my body if I drink from her dog bowl? Like, I put my hand in it, and I was just like, how do I get closer to my baby again?
Yeah.
And it's like, you think crazy things, but something I've thought for the last year since I knew she had cardiomyopathy and I was starting to prepare myself was, I believe that if you are really soulmates, like if somebody or an animal or something is truly your soulmate, it means that your souls will always find each other. That's why it's your soul's mate. And she is unequivocally, unapologetically, without a doubt, mine. And so I kept telling her, whenever one of us goes, whichever one of us goes first, it doesn't matter, because we will find each other again. I will always find you. I will always look for you. And you just need to keep looking for me. And so I truly believe that she is going to find me again when she's ready. And our souls will be together, because otherwise, what's the point of a soulmate if you're not together? So part of my strength is coming from just knowing that I have my eyes open. And I don't know if that's going to be in a person, right? I haven't shared this yet, but I am single now and have been for a while, like over a month. And I don't know if I'm supposed to meet somebody and that will be my soul's mate, and that's Charlye finding me again. I don't know if it's another animal I'm going to be able to save. I don't know what it is, or maybe I'm going to adopt a child and like that's Charlye coming back. Like, I don't know what is in my next chapter, but I know it involves Charlye and me reuniting. And so that really gives me so much strength and hope and confidence in this not being the end. And if you're going through something or you're preparing to go through something, just keep telling them, if you really feel they're your soulmate, that it's okay, because you will just keep finding each other in every lifetime the way you're supposed to. And so I can say that without crying, because it actually makes me happy. It's
peaceful, because it's honest.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys, it's sweater weather, and I have a new obsession, because what came in the mail is my Jenny Kane fisherman sweater. in chocolate brown, which is like my favorite color this season. And I am obsessed. They're so soft. They're so beautiful.
This totally tracks because we're similar in so many ways, and Jenny Kane sweaters is definitely one of them. I actually have the everyday sweater. I like a lower collar, and I really like the long sleeves. There's something when you bunch it up that just like you scream cozy. I kept thinking, is it wrong if I sleep in this too? Because it is so soft. Like, they have so many options. So if you need something that pairs well with literally anything in your closet, look no further than the Flynn cashmere sweater, because that is the one that I am eyeing next. It has a perfect V-neck, and it's so easy to layer and style and be that girl. Find your new uniform at jennykane.com. Our listeners get 15% off your first order when you use code WHOLE15 at checkout. That's 15% off your first order, JENNIKAYNE.com, promo code WHOLE15. That's WHOLE 15. Let getting dressed be one less thing to worry about. Embrace your fall aesthetic with Jenny Kane.
Well, isn't it interesting? And I remember before you were ready to leave that room, and the idea of that was really difficult. And we were talking on the phone, and we were talking about this exact thing about soulmates. And what's beautiful is that when you know something's factual, or when you know something's true, even though maybe science can't explain it, or you can't go to the internet and be like, give me precise facts as to why soulmates exist. But I do believe that, like, on a cellular level, we know when something is truthful because it provides us peace. We know when something is right for us because it provides us peace. And watching, even while we're talking right now, you like center into your body, and just almost, it's like your shoulders come down and the exhale. And it's confirmation, like, that you and Charlye will find your way back to each other. It's just going to be in a beautiful and different way. And I think, regardless of what people believe, I truly think the capacity of what's beyond this life is so far beyond what our brains can compute. But I know from losing very important people in my life and having some really incredible experiences of their souls or their energy or whatever you want to call it, coming back in a way that you couldn't even describe, or things happening, you realize there's so many layers to this existence, and there's so many like veils beyond what we can actually taste and see and touch. And actually, I think being in our bodies, in our like vessels that we're in, are almost more limiting to the interconnectivity of everything else beyond it. So when people pass, or when animals pass, it's like, it's not people versus animal, it's a soul. And like when something leaves its container, it goes back to where it came from, which is where everything is, which is where all the abundance is. And I think we're actually the ones that are held back from it, living this experience so that we can grow and evolve. So I very firmly believe, and I cannot wait to see how Charlye's soul comes back to you. And I know it's coming, and I know she's going to be guiding all these cool little winks and moments and little ahas until that day comes, and making sure that occurs. So I'm so happy with how you have that hope, and that it's not false hope. It's just a knowing and leaning into that experience. And also, yes, you've had a fucking month and a half, because it's been a lot of purge and change and so much. And to watch you still operate, like when we're doing the install, knowing everything you have had going on, knowing you've always been worried about Charlye's health whenever you travel, and you can't travel for too long, and this anxiety there, and you going through moving on from a relationship, all these things. But you show up so fully and so presently and still so kindly and joyfully. And I don't want you to ever discount. And I want you to know that I know how much energy that takes. I know how much that's a choice. And that's not a default choice, especially when you've gone through stuff in your mental health where your head can sometimes be your worst enemy. It's a battle every single day. So I'm just really proud of you, and always in awe of you, of the grace that you show up and give to so many people, even when so much can be going on in your personal life. You don't let that change your heart. Like, you don't let that change your soul. And I think that's where you and Charlye are so interconnected, because Charlye clearly was that same way. She could be ailing with her health, and she still would give her paw to somebody to help them. And when she, you know, had a moment, she was worried about you and how your heart was going to be. So I just want you to know you totally exist in a wonderful way. And I just wish I could fucking hug you. I hate distance. When I'm moving, I need to move to Florida faster. This is just bullshit.
Hey, words of affirmation are my love language. So way more than a hug, like words mean way more to me. So you don't need to send me gifts. You don't need to spend time with me, but your words are how I feel loved, and you have them in abundance. And at 3:00 in the morning when I'm screaming, you have them. So I appreciate all of the virtual hugs. We're here on Earth for some reason, right? Everybody has a purpose, and the purpose could be as simple as you are meant to experience like being a human.
Yeah.
And that comes with all of these emotions, and you can't feel the highs without feeling the lows, because if you don't really allow yourself to feel the lows, that means you're probably numbing with something, right? It could be alcohol, it could be drugs, it could be,
anything could be an addiction. Anything can numb.
Yeah, you're just numbing yourself so that you won't feel, and you're robbing yourself of the best parts of life, which are, the highs and the excitement and the love and the passion and like the genuine companionship you can build with another person or with an animal. And if you don't allow yourself that because you're too scared to go through the pain of what I'm feeling right now, for example, you're not actually living, and you're not fulfilling your purpose of having that human experience. So I think the deeper that you feel things and the more that you mourn, you should be so proud of yourself, because it means that you've allowed yourself to give fully because you're hurting fully. And that is a beautiful grace to give yourself when you're going through that.
Completely. And everything in life has an equal and opposite reaction. Sometimes I feel like when souls enter bodies, obviously we're don't have that awareness to my knowledge. Maybe we do deep down and we just numb it out as we grow as human beings. But I feel like that's part of the deal. Like, I almost feel like before you come to Earth, you sign a contract in a way where you're like, all right, my soul needs to go here. I'm being put here. And these are going to be, the parents that I'm given, or the situation that I'm given, or this. And it's all, I truly believe everything is for your favor, even the really, really terrible stuff. And part of the deal of being human is that you get to love big, but you get to lose big too. Everything stays in this kind of balanced stasis because that's just the rules of engagement. And it takes a courage. And I think we see this in children. And then as we get older and older and older, the awareness of the pain of loss or of the fear of loss or the fear of it's not going to work out holds us back more so. So we start to love less, and we start to talk less, and we start to contain ourselves and try to protect ourselves from the inevitable. But really, when you think of the most incredible humans you can think of, and the ones that have done amazing, beautiful things, you look at them and you're like, oh my God, they've lived. Like, they have had 17 lifetimes. They have started companies and lost all their money and gone bankrupt. They have, Liz Taylor was married 6 times. The girl was doing her college try, like, damn. I mean, I don't know if I could do that. I would just be like, screw man, I'm over it by the second. But truly, I think what's so cool is when you see people really live their life. And how beautiful is it to know that you're going to love something and you're going to say, I'm going to love this because I know this could destroy me, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then when that time comes to an end, or their life comes to pass, or whatever that closure moment is, you can say, yeah, this sucks so hard, but how cool is it this sucks so hard because I got to love that damn big.
And something that just triggered in me when you said that, I said this to somebody yesterday who was DMing me about losing her dog. So this is such a bonding moment. So many of you have reached out and been so incredibly kind and supportive, and the tears that have been shed for Charlye could fill a river. I mean, it is so beautiful how many of you care so much about an animal you've never met, but yet you know what that bond is like, and you're able to feel for us. And again, that just it's a testament to who our people are, you know, like the people around us that are kind of feeling what we're feeling, listening to what we're saying. We're all in that same energy level. And it's so beautiful and special. I cannot even put it into words. But something that I was saying, and I hope this is helpful, is that I know I will not be the same after having gone through this. Like, a part of me is broken, and in a way that you can't fix. Like, a piece of me died that day with her, and I will never be fully the same. However, if you compare me now to who I was before I met Charlye, I'm still a much better person. So that means she impacted me in such a beautiful way that even though I feel that loss forever, I'm still a better person now than I was before I met her. And so I'm forever changed, still for the positive, despite this emptiness in my heart, because of her. And that is why it is worth every minute of being a parent, of being a mom to her. And so, yeah, I implore you all to just give with your whole heart, mourn with your whole heart, love with your whole heart, do it selflessly, do it because that's living. And yeah, I guess the only last thing I want to say about Charlye is and then I promise we'll move on, because we really want to talk about girl showers, actually.
We'll talk about how that's healing and cleansing. But no, you take this moment. You take this moment, dog. I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people.
The last thing I want to say about Charlye is to thank her, because I think the part of the reason I know she is my soulmate is because she literally saved my life. That really abusive relationship I talked about previously, maybe episode 2, I think, or 3, where I was in it for 7 years with somebody who was really, really destroying me. And it was my first love, my first intimate experience. Like, I thought I was going to marry him. He was kind of all I knew. And I was kind of trapped in it. And I couldn't protect myself because I was so beaten down and insecure and thought nobody would love me. But he did by abusing me, I guess. So anyways, we got Charlye, and I got home from work one night, and I guess he got home at the same time, and she had peed on the floor of his apartment, and he grabbed her and like threw her against a wall. And I'm sorry, it wasn't against the wall, it was against her crate, and it made this like really loud noise because like all the metal was clanging. And I screamed and was like, oh my God, like, don't touch her. And, you know, I think he'd probably been drinking or something. And he is a much better person now, I will say, and actually helping people with this issue. But at the time, he was going through it. And that night, in the middle of the night, I got out of bed and I slowly walked into the other room where her crate was, and I took her out. I packed everything I could fit in my one bag, and I drove away. And I like saved myself, and I got out of that relationship. And it was like, I could let somebody, you know, kind of hurt me for 7 years. But the second you touch my child, my dog, I got a strength that I can't compare. And so it was like, I wasn't strong enough to protect myself, but I was strong enough to protect her. I guess I loved her more than I loved myself. And so because of Charlye, I am probably the reason I'm probably still here today. And so I just want to thank her for literally saving my life and saving me. And I just want to help so many animals because of her. And I thank you guys for giving me this space to share this. And if you're going through something, I promise you're not alone. You're just really human and really beautiful for feeling it.
Amen. Can I bring up one point to that beautiful story?
Yes.
Oh my God, that makes me like really, really, really want to cry. Yes, Charlye may have saved your life and been the catalyst to so many things and been a constant through so much growth and development. But part of me is wondering that maybe Charlye knew it was okay for her to go now because you have grown and you do love yourself and you, oh my God, I'm going to cry. And you have such wonderful self-confidence and you have evolved. And she knows that her job was done. And I'm sorry to add this to you, but I keep like hearing this. Like the cycle's completed in a way, you know? And I know I see it with you. And I'm so proud of you. And Charlye, I think, knew, okay, she's good. We did what my work here is done. I did what I needed to do, and now we can glue together. So I just want you to know that. And I want you to know that she would have never left, or she would have kept fighting longer if she knew you weren't ready to be able to meet this, to deal with this, and also to know that you fully love yourself. Because I know I see that in you. I saw that when we were at install. I saw your joy. I saw your passion. I saw your confidence. I saw just like so much growth. And not that you needed to grow anymore, but I was just like, oh, she's in her spot now. Like she's ready. So I'm just really, really, I want you to know that. And I think, oh gosh, this is like kind of what animals and what people and experiences do in our lives, is sometimes the most beautiful goodbye is the one that it's like, oh, okay, my work here is done. And now it's time for me to move back and go back to where I came from. And now I think she's going to bring something really wonderful into your life next. And I'm so excited to be a passenger and in the audience to see what's coming, because I have very good vibes about that. So,
well, thank God I had you as a passenger this experience, because man, I'm like I think people grieve in different ways. I'm an isolator. I completely don't want to talk. I don't want to text. Yep. I don't want to see photos. I don't want to have to, because I also don't like seeing other people hurting. So when you're sad that I'm sad, I'm now sad that you're sad.
And trying to make yourself feel better.
I'm trying to make you feel better, but I have literally not a morsel of energy left because I've been scream crying in the shower for days. And so to give energy to try and make somebody else feel better because they're sad that it's too much. And so I just realized for me, the only way I can heal is to completely isolate. I don't want anybody around me. I don't want hugs. I don't want to talk about it. I am alone, but you have done such a good job of just the perfect amount of checking in, of being there at the crucial moments, of saying the right things. And it's just such a good reminder that even if you want to isolate, there's a couple people that are in your life for a reason, and let them be there for you, because nobody should have to go through this stuff alone. And you know who those people are, and they will show up when you need them, just like you will do for them. So thank you, Kendall, for being that for me, and so many other girlfriends who've been amazing, and my family, just amazing.
Yeah. Well, as a fellow isolator, when things go wild, like I don't know exactly where she's at, but I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, I'm not going to message her for a couple days. I don't need her feeling guilty that she hasn't texted me back. The second that I saw you commented on something on Instagram, I'm like, oh, okay, door's open. I'm like, she's back on social media a little bit.
I still want to support you. If you do a post and I see it, I'm still going to support my girl. I might be crying, but I'll use an exclamation point.
No, I know, but like I wanted to yell at you almost, but I was like part of my friends were like, bitch, go grieve. Like I appreciate that you're hyping me up in my Instagram post, but like it's okay. You can miss one or two. No, but I love you so much for that. And speaking of, you mentioned the shower, because when you called me, for the record, that awful phone call but you called me. I'm literally buck ass naked in the shower. No, it's fine.
I didn't know that.
No, so here's the thing. No, it's fine. I wasn't going to tell you, Galey, I'm naked. Like, no, that was like not.
I literally think I was vomiting. Like, I think I was like dry heaving, screaming. And I was like, poor Kendall has to hear this, but I don't know who else to talk to right now. Like,
you can bring that to me any day. I was just worried you were going to faint because I was like, she's hyperventilating. That's why I kept like, I felt like I was annoying you. I was like, okay, just try to get her to breathe. Try to get her to breathe. Try to get her to breathe. And anyway, so it all worked out. Alex ran up and I was like, I need a phone cord. Because of course my fucking phone was about to die.
Oh my God.
No, it's fine. It all worked out. It all worked out beautifully. But speaking of being in the shower, there is something. I think we've had so many conversations about the shower. I started manifesting in the steam on the shower. Girl, it is game changing. It's the thing my ADHD needed.
Wholeheartedly is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Look, we all know my ADHD has made me a professional multitasker. I'll be listening to a podcast while blowing off the leaves in my backyard, trying not to step in something my dog just left for me in the grass. And yeah, it's a lot. I feel like I'm fighting for my life every day. But multitasking doesn't always have to be so overwhelming. Like quoting with Progressive Insurance, they do all the multitasking for you. They compare rates with all the other insurance providers so you can find a great rate that works for you, even if it's not with them. I know it sounds too good to be true, but I'm not lying. It's legit. You can see for yourself by visiting Progressive's website to get a quote with all the coverages you want, like comprehensive and collision coverage or personal injury protection. Then you'll see Progressive's direct rate, and their tool will provide options from other companies all lined up and ready to compare, so it's really simple to choose the rate and coverage you like best. Just press play on comparing auto rates by getting a quote at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive, including myself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Good taste. It is easy to spot, but I'm so sorry. It is hard to pin down. But you know it when you see it. And in today's culture, there's no better signifier of taste than the car you drive. I hate to say it, but it is totally how you know if someone has that taste or not. You want something that's sophisticated, but it's not stodgy. You want something that's daring, but it's also classic, okay, approachable and sexy at the same time. And that's where the Range Rover Evoque comes in. It is a elegant SUV with a beautifully sophisticated design. It's got this nice advanced technology and premium materials as well. It's got clean lines, it's got sumptuous, oh God, I love that word, sumptuous materials and advanced technology that all come together in the Range Rover Evoque. It's got the exterior of a quietly bold expression of a Range Rover, so it's got like that Range Rover DNA, but it has this sexy sportiness that features a floating roof, continuous waistline, and a three-dimensional grille that give the Range Rover Evoque its captivating character. The Range Rover Evoque is art and craft in equal measure, and it showcases its meticulous design and its attention to detail. Build your Range Rover Evoque at LandRoverUSA.com. Visit LandRoverUSA.com to configure your Range Rover Evoque. So let's talk about the cleansing of what a shower is and why, when in doubt, cry in there, do everything in there.
Quick question. I've been wanting to ask you this forever. How many times a week do you take a girl shower, which is quote unquote an everything shower?
Okay. So, y'all, I'm Italian. Okay. One of Alex's favorite things to do is pluck my chin hairs. It is embarrassing.
I was wondering if you were ever going to share that. I was not going to bring it up. I wasn't going to say it, but I'm so glad you did.
Girl, there are so many videos that I've taken. He's like, don't post that. And I'm like, why? It's funny. He's like, it's just too private. I'm like, babe, listen, first off, any ladies out there who also have Italian heritage and like a high cortisol level, because apparently you get more chin hair the more stressed you are or your adrenals are shot. So I'm all of the above. They are damn tree trunks, and they've only gotten worse. They've only gotten worse to the point that like Alex gets excited. He'll find his tweezers and be like, oh, I found another. It's like operation on my fucking chin. It's so annoying. Anyway, so I take an everything shower. Probably, guys, I'm hairy. Probably 2 times a week at least. Maybe 3 if I've been really active and my hair just starts growing more or I've been in the sun. I shave a lot. I should get electrolysis.
And then next question, I tried to do electrolysis and I did it, I did one session a month. I did 9 months. They said you need like 5. I did 9 months and still it never worked because they said my hair was too blonde.
Yeah.
Because, the laser needs to find pigment to shoot it and kill it at the root. And my hair was too blonde, so they couldn't kill it. And I was like, oh, so I wasted 9 months of electrolysis for nothing.
Which I've heard hurts. I will say, though, part of me is like, do I get electrolysis on my chin or do I keep my chin hair for my relationship? Because weirdly, Alex enjoys plucking it. Well, I think he'd be disappointed.
I'm a plucker too. Like I love squeezing people's pimples and like pulling out things. So like I'd say save it for the relationship, like keep it going. But I just thought of the funniest story that happened. So when I went in, oh God, this is so embarrassing. When I need to laugh today because I just haven't laughed in a while. So like this is so cathartic for me. But when I went in for my first session with the electrolysis lady, and I've never gotten waxed or anything, like I just don't have a ton of hair down there. So I just literally shave every single shower and it's really fine. So I don't get like the prickly stuff, I guess.
Oh my God. Lucky girl.
So I take an everything shower every night, but that's my CDO happening in the shower place. But anyways, so I go in there and she's like prepping the table and she's like, okay, so you're just going to undress from like the waist down and you're going to get into frog pose and I'll be back in 2 minutes. And I was like, okay. So she goes out of the room. I take my spandex off. I am butt ass naked. I get on the table and I squat on my feet with my knees to the side. Like imagine like Indian style, but standing. Cause I think I'm like, and I'm up forward on my hands like a frog.
Yeah. Like that's what I thought.
She comes back in and she goes, oh, and I was like, ribbit? Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I am full frog here. And she goes, oh, no, I'm sorry, sweetie. Frog pose means like lay on your back and just like spread your legs out. And I was like, so like
dissecting a frog pose.
No. She meant frog, I guess, just like spread your legs. And I thought it meant like sit up and like spread eagle sitting up. And it was laying down just so that she could wax you and or electrolysis, whatever. And she literally, her face, clearly nobody had ever done that before. It's so mortifying. I literally was like, ribbit, like, how is this not a frog? I am channeling frog.
You're like, I Googled frog and this is what they look like. Here's how much do you want to bet? Like she told that
everybody
to her friend a million times.
Guarantee. Yeah. Even if you're listening to the pod and you heard about me, don't let me know. I don't need to know. I'm good just in my own little world.
Wait, I'm Googling frog. I'm just going to Google frog. Yes.
See? Yeah. They just like, they're like up with their legs out. And so I just was straight. I mean, it was so embarrassing, her face. Yep. That was me on the table. Needless to say, I went back 9 more times and it was always the same person. And she was like, I follow you on Instagram. And I was like, no, you've now seen everything down there. You know about Frog Gate. And now you're like following me. This is so embarrassing.
Do we have her on the pod to talk about her?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. Zero chance. No, immediate no. So anyways, with the everything shower. So what does your everything shower consist of? Because my everything shower means that I am doing shampoo, I'm doing conditioner, I'm doing like an exfoliator on all of like the extremities and like getting rid of dead skin. And I do it with, I think it's really important to do. I do it with like the same body wash for newborns, because then it doesn't strip away all your like barrier layers. And it's actually much better because if you use like regular soap or normal body wash or things like that on your body skin, you're actually taking away those barriers. But like the body wash for little babies, they need to protect their skin barrier, right? Because they're newborns. And so it's much gentler. And I think it just helps with aging so much. So anyways, that's my pro tip. Shave the arms, shave all of the legs, bikini area if it needs it. And then I floss. I brush my teeth in the shower. I floss in the shower, I learned that from my dad.
It's probably safer because, okay, have you ever realized how many poo-poo chemicals come out when you flush the toilet? And if
I've seen the videos with the blue light.
Girl.
Oh my God. No, there's no toothbrush sitting out anywhere in my bathroom. It is tucked away in a pretty little like terracotta bowl with a hole at the bottom so water can run through it in my shower that looks all nice because I'm not letting the toilet anywhere near my toothbrush. So those are separate.
Yeah, I think that's actually so much safer. I did not even think about that. And I told Alex too. He's like, why do you always put the seat completely down? And I'm like, because when you flush, all of the chemical, like not even the chemicals, like the particles, like it just sprays outward. Like I don't want to inhale that. Oh my God, no. No, that's why I think public toilets are disgusting because they don't have any lid on them. So it's just all of that is just like circulating in the public toilet. Sorry if I'm giving anyone OCD or like a germaphobe a nightmare, but
one of the worst pains for me is that like when I'm in public going to the bathroom, I will not sit down. Like I won't even lay the stuff around the toilet and then sit down on it because I'm too close to the drama. I need it to stay as far away from my thighs as possible. But that means that I'm full on squatting. And if I'm wearing like my wedge boots, which I usually travel in, I'm up really high over that toilet, which means the velocity of what's happening is going to create splashback in my ponytail. So I have to do like a hit it and run. So I like drop really quick and then I fly forward, like so nothing will splash back and hit me because these are conversations I've only had with myself. And now I'm like, why the first time I'm sharing this with the world? Am I putting it on a podcast? I do not know what's wrong with me. You guys, I'm going through it. I'm in a place right now. Okay.
The other thing is too, I have to just say, and to all my ladies out there or gents, if anybody wears heels, do you, but going to the bathroom, if you squat over the toilet and you're wearing a heel, let me just say, first off, I want to give you a note. Olympic qualifier, also great for glute activation. So next time you are doing a squat, I want you to go up on your toes just a little bit and kind of remember what it feels like in the glute. It's a great mental note, okay? Now, granted, when we are squatting in flat shoes, we want to drive through our heels, but I want the same activation in the glutes. So next time you squat over the potty and you are wearing a heel, remember, that's what your butt should feel like when you're in a proper squat form. Thank you. Good night. That is my...
Louder for the back.
Wait, literally for the back. For the booty.
Literally. And the ponytail. That's like my big... Because I have such a long ponytail. I'm always thinking about splashback in my ponytail. Like, it just absolutely terrifies me.
Yeah, or like how hair can like, or if you go like how when Alex and I were in Austin, God, we've been all over. Literally, we were in 5 states in 10 days. It's been a lot of travel, but we were in Austin and we went to this barbecue place, which was great. You would have hated it. A lot of not vegetarian.
I couldn't save those animals.
Listen, I even was like, this is a lot of meat. Like, this is a lot. Like, I'm more of like give me a fish taco. I'm like, they looked at me like I had 6 heads. I was like, I just want a Caesar salad with chicken. And they're like, well, do you want brisket on it? And I'm like, no, I'm good. Thank you. They're like, really? No brisket? I'm like, I'm good. Like, y'all, I'm fine. The queso dip was fire though. That was great. But we came back from the restaurant and got into bed and he turns over and he's like, hey babe, do you mind showering? I'm like, why? I was like, I showered. He goes, yeah, but you just still smell like brisket. I didn't even eat brisket. It just the smoke got into my hair. And I'm like, yeah, no. I was like, yeah, touche. Honestly, I should wash my hair and do so I did an everything shower. I was close to it at the hotel in Austin because I was like, I smell like brisket.
That there's certain places that if I go into, I know that when I get home, before I even start eating the food, I need a shower because I can feel my hair just absorbing it. Like there's something about the oils in Chinese restaurants. Like or like Mexican restaurants.
Depending on.
Yeah. It's another one where I get home and I'm like, I smell like the restaurant. I can smell it all over me. And then you got to do a full girl shower.
Yeah. And it's like, I love Mexican food. I could eat it every single day of my life. Also growing up in California, but I don't want to smell like cumin. Like I love eating and the flavors and smelling it in my tortilla soup, all that.
Well, cumin, isn't that more Indian?
I don't know. I know it's in a lot. I know it's in a lot of Mexican cooking.
Oh, I'm the non-chef here, so I need to shut up.
No, hold on, let me see. I feel like there's garam masala.
Oh, curry. I'm thinking of curry. Curry powder.
Yeah. And that's just it. Indian food has so much flavor to it and these beautiful spices, but we don't often smell those spice mists. We don't get them a lot in the United States because it's just not how we season our food here.
Yeah.
So the more you go towards India, there's some incredible spices that come out of obviously like Turkey and Lebanon, and it's more pungent. Like you get a lot of saffrons and different things. So yeah, if you're not some of that style of cooking, like it's like a lot of roasted garlic. If you have a ton of roasted garlic, your fingers will smell like it for a week. I'm just numb to it because of being as Italian as I am. But everyone tells me, I'm like, well, you can't date me unless you like garlic. I would never date a vampire because I just reek of it all the time.
So speaking of cutting up garlic, that makes me think about cutting up onions. And do you know the trick? Do you know the trick to cutting an onion so that your eyes won't water?
I've heard one. Tell me, because I might say no, but go.
Okay. So basically, when you're cutting onions, the reason that your eyes start to water is because whatever the toxin, or I don't want to say chemical, but it's like a fume that's coming off.
I think it's like an enzyme, and it reacts once you cut the onion.
So the enzyme is looking for hydration to latch onto, and your eyes are watery, so it goes to your eyes. So when you're cutting an onion, if you just take like a washcloth or a paper towel and you wet it and you set it right next to the onion, all the enzymes go to the wet paper towel instead of to your eyes, and you're good. Ladies and gentlemen, my only cooking tip you will ever get, because the only thing I make great is candy, because I buy it in bags. That's it. You're welcome. I'm done.
Wait, what? Okay, I'm literally going to try this, because the last week when we came back, so we were in DC, Texas, Cincinnati for 28 hours for Alex's cousin's wedding, and then back to DC. So I definitely got sick because there was like no way I was going to survive that. Anyway, I cut up so many onions. I like went deep into like holistic TikTok. There's this woman, Barbara O'Neill, that she like has, it's like all the stuff that your grandma or your great grandma used to know. It's like all the natural stuff. I don't know. There was some weird thing where Australia was banning her from practicing quote unquote medicine. She never said she was a doctor. She's very Christian. She follows like things that are written in the Bible about things, but it's not like, she's a lovely, lovely woman. She gives like earthy granola grandma vibes, like just a gem with a gorgeous little Aussie accent. Anyway, so I was looking up this like natural cough syrup. Holy crap, does it work? It's onion and raw honey, and you layer it and then you let it sit for 24 hours and you strain out the onion. It is the most effective cough syrup I've ever had in my life. But this goes to, I was chopping up so many onions. Between that, I made chicken tortilla soup when we got back, so I would try to like knock that out to make me feel better. And every single time, ever since I got LASIK and I no longer wear contacts, I used to be able to like cut onions fine because I had contacts in, so it would like protect my eye.
Yeah.
But since getting LASIK, they kill me. Everything starts running, all of it. So the way that I am almost probably going to go to the store today, buy an onion, put it in a recipe I'm going to make tonight for Alex, and put the wet towel next to it, I will let you know, because I think that's brilliant.
Just soak a paper towel, soak it, and just set it right next to it, like in a little bowl or right on the cutting board, and watch it work.
Oh my God.
Speaking of things we learned on TikTok, the other thing I wanted to share with you, because I'm so floored by this. I don't even know how I feel about it. Like my feelings have feelings, I think. But I saw on TikTok that we already know AI is taking over the world, and we're all trying to figure out how to stay as human as possible, I feel like, and cling to it. But this is next level scary and fascinating. So if you are in college right now or in high school and you're studying for exams and you need a better way to study, there is a new AI app where you can take your semester notes or your study guide review or whatever you have for your final, you submit it into the app, and then they turn your notes into a podcast. So you can pick to have two girls talking, two guys talking, and they will literally be taking your notes, put it in a podcast form so that you can listen to it as your way of studying while you're driving or working out or whatever. So let's say you're studying for the LSATs and you put in all of the LSAT review information. You just like copy it from your computer and submit it. And then they'll put it into like 5-hour-long podcasts of two girls talking. And one's like, do you know what a tort is? And the other girl's like, what's a tort? And she's like, okay, this is crazy. So a tort is actually a way in which a legal briefing, and then they make it conversational. They make it funny. They use lots of different intonations and colloquial words to make it just young and fresh and fun. And it's literally, you know, a 30-year-old textbook that they're putting into a podcast. Kids don't even have to study anymore. This is insane.
F that. I had to learn all those damn stupid study notes, all that. Here's the thing. Here's what, okay, number one, please keep listening to our podcast so we don't get replaced by robots of ourselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. This is my firm line with this. I think just what we're going to find with AI is that just because you can do it doesn't mean you should, doesn't mean people want it. And this is why it's so important for us to circle back to like where we started this conversation, to be and to experience and to be vulnerable and as human as possible and to embrace those parts of ourselves. Because we're getting to a place, and this is not fear-mongering, this is just what is about to become, where we won't be able to look at an image and know if it's honest or not. Traditionally, we knew images were first-person accounts of things. We took them as fact. Now, with the new Canva image, whatever it is, it can create any image you want and it looks realistic. So yeah, it's like Photoshop on steroids. I hope that our government and everybody works together to create some type of regulation, or at least, you know, you have to let it say made by AI or AI created. There has to be a disclaimer on these things. But we're getting to a place in the world where we're going to have to be so discerning about what we consume and if it's real or not. Where that's very scary, we could focus on that alone. I also think it's exciting because that means that all of the truly human experiences, art that is actually created and painted by hand, music, live music, community events, things like what we're doing right now, stuff that a computer cannot create, it can replicate, but it can't create. Sports are a huge one. Right? We don't want to watch robots compete. We want to watch people. We want to see the stories of triumph and the hard work. In a weird way, if as AI comes to prominence, I think all of the truly humanistic, honestly, you know, tangible experiences are going to become 10 times more valuable. It's case in point too. Quick side note, I went to Athlos, which was Alexis Ohanian. He is Serena Williams' husband. I just have to say that first. Like, he's married to the GOAT. She is such a badass. So he put on this incredible event called Athlos, and it's the first of its kind. He's going to do multiple. And it was an all-women's female track event. He's investing 10x in women's sport, which makes me so freaking excited. When I tell you this event, I like cold DM'd him because I was like, I believe in what you're doing. He has the same perspective on AI, that the future of combating AI is going to be that sport and women's sports are going to become 10 times more valuable than how they're valued now, which they should be because female athletes are just as incredible. So he put on this incredible event. And the cool part, all of the women got more money. It was the highest purse ever for a track event in its history for women. And the reason why, 10% of all the proceeds of ticket sales, of sponsorship, of broadcast rights, of everything was going directly back to the athletes who were competing. And I'm just like, thank you, business. If you build a great business model, if you prioritize sport, and if you make it something exciting. Megan Thee Stallion performed, which, oh my God, my bitch. I love her. I love
your Instagram stories. You were like, yeah.
Oh, I was in my, okay, anybody who knows me from Peloton knows like that was the class.
Your tongue was out of your mouth in every single video. I was like, she is just so vibing. I was like, heart, 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 heart.
Oh my God. It was so fun. It was to the point like Alex and I were leaving the concert because we were tired. We wanted to get back. But she started playing Body and we were waiting for her to come. Body, yada, 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 yada. Oh,
I love that song.
There was a fire truck that went by. NYFD. woman in the front seat, female firefighter. She had the window down and she goes, body, yada, yada, because I was like throwing it back, waiting for the Uber. And she's like, yes. It was the most female, just like sisterhood.
It's an anthem. It just brings us all together. It's like Hunger Games, when they all just like do the same thing with their hands in unison. We all just like body, yada, yada, yada.
Yes. And it was so cool to celebrate women, to see another badass woman performing and experiencing. The entire event was sold out. And the way that it just like healed my feminine to see these young girls waiting on the red carpet to meet all of the athletes. Gabby Douglas was there. Sha'Carri was there. All these incredible people. And seeing them so excited and screaming and realizing, like, I'm going to get emotional. The future for these young women mean that they could become a professional athlete and they could make a career doing it. Like, that was not available in the same way to us growing up that it is going to be hopefully now. And this is a byproduct of fighting against AI and investing in the human experience, which I think is how we're going to navigate this next chapter technologically. But it just, I have chills. It was such a wonderful event. I can't wait for the next one. I'm full send. It was sick. So
I do love that. This episode has been so much about human emotion and experiences and being girls and taking girl showers and being best friends and being there for the people that you love and being human and missing the things that you love. And so as much as AI is trying to come in and overtake, to your point, Kendall, which I think is brilliant, it's only going to make those things more valuable. So lean into them even harder, hold on to them with both hands and your whole heart, and don't stop allowing yourself to feel all the things, the highs and the lows, because it's what's going to keep AI from, hurting future generations if we keep the human experience human.
A freaking men. Just snaps. Yes, Galey, beautifully said. All right. So what are we working on this week? What do you think?
I think that I'm working on focusing on the things that help me with my grieving. So running has always been such an important part of who I am, and allowing my body to move. And I'm going to move it as long as it will allow me to. So I went on my first run since Charlye passed this morning. And I thought I was going to cry all the way through it. And instead, I just tried to stay really positive, and I felt better afterwards. So I need to remember to keep doing the things that have always made me feel good in the past, because it will help me get through this. So eating nourishing meals, running, talking with my best friends, and doing the podcast, and just, like, you were like, Alex can do it if you want to step in. I know you're in a really hard place right now. And, I think old Galey, who wasn't ready before Charlye was ready to let me go and was a little weaker version of myself, would have been like, yeah, I can't do it. Like, no. And instead I was like, no, we're going to do this. We're going to get through it. Hopefully it can help some people, and it's honest and it's our real life, and we're going to do it. And so I just say, Nike it, just keep doing it. And don't be too hard on yourself on the days that are hard, because I think grieving comes in waves, and you just got to ride the wave.
Yep, exactly. I think that's all great advice. I love that you're going to be moving consistently too. It's such an not considered thing, but especially with grief, or when you're going through a tough chapter, finding consistency and like allowing all of that energy to move through your body rather than just like sitting and staying stagnant.
Yeah.
It's so helpful. It is a form of release, and it's one where you can kind of like tap out a little bit. You don't have to think as much. Maybe running's not your thing, maybe boxing, maybe it could be jamming out to like a pop punk playlist and lifting a heavy ass weight, but it does. It's incredible how much it helps. So kind of interestingly for me this week, honestly, I feel so like everything's spinning. I've really gone nonstop, and it's getting to a point where it's not helpful to me anymore. I want to get everything down to, I want it to be simplified and organized. I'm going like really Galey on this. I'm like ready to get like a full set schedule of, okay, here's like the content stuff I want to create. I want to keep kind of a formula. It has to be that way. I can't keep running my life ad hoc. It's not possible. There's too many calls, too many emails, too many awesome things that I'm about to announce like in the next month. October is huge, and it's Mental Health Awareness, World Mental Health Day. I have a huge event at Lululemon in New York. I'm going to a gala. Hopefully, I will share it with you guys here because we should be getting final approval. I'm going to be launching my own mental health fund. So I'm going to actively be standing on business. Yeah. And we're going to be raising money and first dispersing it to charities and nonprofits that already have systems in place that are set up. So people like the JED Foundation, people like Brain Change to Mind, AFSP.
Love that.
And then the goal is for year 2 is to be able to start a scholarship predominantly for BIPOC students so that we can get more representation in the mental health field and make sure that people can go back and start changing these narratives in the communities that they come from. So I'm really excited about it. It's been a long time coming, and it looks like we're going to get final sign off and approval this week, and then I'll be able to announce it right around World Mental Health Day. So that's one of those things. So because of that and because of these new responsibilities, I'm really ready to simplify things down, get on a schedule, and not beat myself up for not being able to do the 80 things that are on my plate in one day. Like, I have to be kinder to myself mentally and just understand like I'm building a new thing and I need to just find a little bit of a rhythm. So starting to establish a rhythm is going to be the goal. And I'm going to give myself grace if it takes a little while to figure it out.
I love that for you. And not trying to do the 80 things on your plate every day means that when you wake up in the morning, don't put 80 things on your plate.
Exactly. Yep. Alex.
Schedule it out and just piecemeal it out so that your mental health is the number one thing on your plate, because you help so many other people with it. And I love all of the charities that you'll be doing. And I think that you have to make sure to protect yourself while doing it.
Exactly. Like you can't give from what you don't have. So I feel you.
Exactly. So I've been thinking a lot about this, what song title we're going to use.
You take it. What do you want to go?
Yeah. I have just, because this is the most meaningful and important one for me ever. I mean, there will not be another episode about Charlye and losing her and loving her and what she's done for me. So I thought, and it just came to me like a minute ago. I hadn't even thought of this, but it's literally the song that inspired the name of our podcast, which is Whole Heart by Griffin. And that is the song that we used when we announced it. It is the song that I used for one of my first install videos that went viral and helped me become who I am today in the design world. And I love that girl with my whole heart, and I will never stop looking for her. So I think Whole Heart should be the name of this episode.
I think that is a brilliant and beautiful idea. And I think it also stands on what we talked about doing things with your whole heart and holding on to your humanity and celebrating it, even in the lieu of so much change and chaos in the world. It's how we're going to protect our future, and it's how we protect ourselves by actually giving everything we have. So I love this so much. Also, it's a great freaking song, so put it on your playlist.
It is. It slaps so hard, you guys. You can run to it. You can cry to it. You can like drive your car to it. It is such a good beat.
I love it. I love it. Well, Galey, I think that's brilliant, and I love you so much. And even though we have these moments where our conversations are public, I appreciate these and the private ones. And I will say it until I am blue in the face. I'm just so proud of how you're open and sharing and giving your whole heart to the world. And we got you. Your girls got you through this. And we will be there for you through all of it. And we will always hold Charlye high in our hearts and in our minds, because she is, I think, everything we all should aspire to be, is that loving. So I love you, and forward and through, my girl.
Forward and through. And I am forever grateful for you, Kendall, and your heart and your friendship. And and most of all, Charlye, I'm grateful forever to you. So thank you for making me a mom.
All right. Bye, y'all. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Bye.